Hey guys, welcome back to Harley's Modern Life. Today we have a little bit of a different thing today. We have the underside of the hood. We're going to be doing a little bit of mechanical today, giving you a really good example of what not to do if you bypass your heater core, and then hopefully having a little bit of a patch that I can make work in the meantime. I am going to be replacing the heater core on this car, but this upcoming week I'm really busy. I need to use the car, so I can't take the dash out until probably next week. So in the meantime, we're going to try to bypass it a little bit better than what they did, just in a pinch. And then next week sometime I'll show you taking the dash out and replacing the heater core and fixing it back properly the way it's supposed to be. And I'll bring you guys in here to get a little bit closer look at, we'll just say the very intelligent work that was done before I got the car. So here we have a lovely Buick 3.8, very good, very strong engine. They're also very reliable, and I'm sure that some of you who know a bit about vehicles can already spot the problem. Our heater hoses run from back here over to, oh, what is this? That looks to be PVC, like you would put under your house. They run back over to there where the heater core is kind of in the center of the dash. It goes through, takes the heat from the engine, pumps it into basically a little radiator in there, and then a fan blows the heat into the car for you. So whoever was working on the car before I got it, they decided just to run some PVC to loop that back into the cooling system, and today that ruptured. So we ended up trying to overheat on the side of the road. Luckily I keep an eye on my gauges from years of driving hoopties, so didn't have too many problems. I picked up a 90-degree elbow, but they're two different size pipes, so I got one that's kind of in between. I'm hoping that the smaller diameter pipe will actually slide over that elbow. Yet to be determined. If not, I'm going to have to come up with something else entirely. And I think it's got to cool down a little more. It might be good. And it still feels pretty warm. So when it's cooled down a little bit more, we will get back into it. Okay, we're going to see if we can't get this out and see if this other one will work for us. Luckily there's a little bit of flex here. Ooh, that's way too hot to lean on. This is going to be uncomfortable because this is way down in the car. Maybe I can do it somewhat one-handed and hold myself up. So because we have two different size hoses, they put an adapter here. We'll see where it's split here in just a minute. Let's see. Don't lean on it. It will burn you. Alright, those should be loose enough to come out. Maybe. Okay, there's that one. Let's try the old screwdriver trick. Let's see if we can't. I'm gonna have to sit on this core support a little bit. It's always fun when you have to climb into a car to get any work done. Oh, that core support is also hot. Not as hot as the intake though, so we'll work with it. There we go. Break the seal a little bit. Yeah. There we go. So this is our smaller hose here. Oh, it looks like they shrank down that PVC to make it fit. So this is our smaller hose here. I'm gonna hope my barb will slide into that. I'm gonna put a little bit of lube on it. See if I can find my WD or something like that. If we can get the smaller barb in, that should clamp, and hopefully the bigger hose will be able to clamp down enough on that to keep it from leaking. So we'll grab that 90. We also have to see if we can actually get these at 90 degrees to each other. So it's going to be interesting. They've cut the hoses about halfway over to the heater core. Normally when somebody does a bypass, they pull the hoses off the other side, bypass it at the end. That way you don't have to buy brand new heater hoses when you finally go to do your replacement. That is not the case here. It's clearly a very professional person decided they would just slice them right in the middle. Oh, now with a hope and a prayer this will slide into the smaller pipe. It is about an 8 diameter, bigger, but I'm hoping that old pipe will stretch just a little bit. I guess it's time to find out. And burn myself in the process. That's always the fun part. I have an idea. Let's try that. Put a little oil on the barb, which we're going to try to use this 90-degree barb here. Oh, come on. Come on. Yeah. Oh, everything is so warm. Ow. Get in there. Ouch. Yeah, the alternator's burning one arm, the intake's burning the other arm. It'll be another couple hours before this got cool enough to not burn me. And I need to do this while it's still daylight. I need to use the car this evening also. Yeah. That should be enough. Barb's all the way down to here. If I clamp it up here, that should be enough to keep that from leaking. And now all we can do is hope that this one, which is much looser, this one will just slide right in because it's about a quarter bigger diameter. But I'm hoping I'll be able to clamp that down far enough that it'll seal up. It doesn't matter if I really clamp too hard on that pipe because it's cut in half. I'm going to have to replace it. So now we see if we can tighten it up, fire it up, and see if it's leaking. If it does leak, it's going to be from this bigger one. That smaller one, realistically, probably wouldn't even need a clamp as hard as I had to put it on there. But they're not kinked. The 90 degree is going to do a good enough job rerouting. And this is one of my favorite tools for messing with clamps. Because that bit driver size is just the right size to work on these. They've got flathead slots, but that's such a pain to try to use a flathead on these guys. It's always slipping out. Alrighty. Oh, don't run away. You're not a 10mm. You're not allowed to do that. Alright, that's nice and snug. Still no bends too tight or kinks too tight. So this one, I could clamp it way up here by the end, but it's smooth here. I want to clamp it kind of right on that last barb because the barbs are bigger than the smooth part of the pipe. I want to give it the best chance I've got to actually fully engage and seal off. We're going to have to crank this guy way down tight. For those of you who don't work on cars, it is very warm inside of an engine bay. If I knew where my temperature gun is, I would tell you that this is, oh, probably still almost 300 degrees. No, that's too hot. That's probably still, I mean, at least 210. It was over halfway, which would be about 208, 210, something like that. So it was probably up to in the 220s, and it's probably still about that warm. All right. Well, now we'll top it off with fluid because I know I lost some from our lovely, lovely fix. I saw it spraying earlier. This was in here like this. I saw it spraying out of the bottom of here, so I'm guessing this fitting. Oh, after all that time and heat, I mean, you can see where it's warped from the heat. Yeah, don't do this, guys. Just don't do this. That right there costs $7 at the parts store, and I'm sure you can order some online for cheaper if you're not in a rush. That was $7. to get 2 clamps, which I didn't need for this, but I will need later, because these spring clamps down here on the bottom are not fun. But to get 2 clamps and that piece right there ended up costing me just under $10. This probably cost $10 itself, and it never was going to last. Okay, now we're going to top it off with some coolant, get it to the top of the radiator, which it has. These cars have a bleeder nipple here because this part does not like to let its air go, so you have to open that when you're fully filling it. Then run the car, and then you'll see when it stops putting out bubbles, you close it back, and then you know you're bled out. But since we just opened there, we know we don't have any pressure. Even though the car is still a little warm, it's not going to blow up on me. I know the person that did that, they only had water in there, so I'm just going to use straight antifreeze to top off what we've lost. Straight water will leave your car without protection. This is oily, it keeps it from rusting on the inside. The water that I saw earlier was a little brown from corrosion. So when I do replace the heater core, I'm going to go ahead and do a radiator flush out the block, and get as much of that gook out of there as I can get, because I don't want that running into the new heater core, so it'll have all fresh coolant in it. Now there's still going to be bubbles, even though I can see it's full over the fill hole here. There's still going to be bubbles inside that block and inside over there. But there would normally also be bubbles inside your heater core. But since that's bypassed, it's just looping back around there, back into the system. So for today's purposes, that's good enough for topped off for us to see whether or not that's leaking. I don't want to go through the trouble of burping it all and bleeding it all for that not to hold up and me lose more coolant. So what we're going to do now is fire it up, let it come up to temperature, make sure that's not spraying out anywhere, make sure it's not overheating on me, and we will go from there. Well, as of right now, we can see that it is not immediately pouring fluid, so that's a good sign. We will let it get back up to operating temperature, which will pressurize up to approximately 15 pounds, 14 pounds. And if it holds the 14 pounds, then that repair would last basically forever. Now, this is an emergency repair in a pinch. But if you're going to do it like that. Don't do it like that. As you can see, we are now back up to temperature. And earlier it got above that next small mark. So it was pretty hot, but I didn't let it go any past the next big mark. I shut it down and waited. Let's see. So at that temperature, we should be pressurized, and I don't see any drips coming off of there. So if you happen to live somewhere where it's never ever cold, that could be a lifetime repair. If you never felt like pulling the dash out, that would hold up for the life of the car. Don't do it. So, in a bind, work it out. If I had somebody to run me to the parts store, I could have done that on the side of the road in the same amount of time. Okay, there we have it. Car's fixed up. That's going to hold up just fine to get me through the rest of this week until I can actually fix the heater core and replace those hoses. Don't pay attention to all the dirt and things up here. We're ignoring that until a future video where I will show you how to really deep clean the inside of an engine bay and make everything look really nice. That way when a potential buyer comes and Opens up the hood, they'll look at it and go, oh, it's so shiny. People like shiny things, help sell cars. I believe that's just about going to do it for today. I will now throw in a clip of the little excursion I went on this morning. I had to go out to Columbia to a junkyard, and I'll put that in right here. Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. I am here at Bobby White Motors in Columbia, Tennessee today. I went ahead and went on a little field trip to pick up some of the stuff I need. Have a very good score from these guys. We have got a new mirror to replace that busted one. And you may notice that is not exactly the right color. But I have a solution for that. It's very windy. Love the hair. And we also picked up this quarter panel mounted tail light to replace that cracked one right there. And that's a little dusty from sitting in the shop, but that'll clean up real good. And if you're in the Middle Tennessee area, Columbia area, I highly recommend coming by and seeing Bobby White and his associates. They are great people. They gave me fair prices on this stuff. They were very helpful and very friendly. So shout out to those guys. Appreciate the service today. And now I have to go to a buddy of mine's house and service his lawnmower. Forgot my tripod at home, so I don't know if I'll be able to get any footage of that. If not, that part will be cut out anyway. So thank you guys for coming along. We're going to go to our next location and see what we can get done there. And I'll be back with you later. And we're back. So I think that wraps it up for today. Hope you guys are doing well wherever you are in the world. Thank you for watching Harley's Modern Life. I will see you next time. I gotta close this.